Did you know that there are certain things that you do unconsciously or habitually that are keeping you stuck? Whether right now you're currently in a rut or maybe you've been stuck in the past. And guess what? You're not alone. As a matter of fact, there was a study done by the Oracle back in 2021 where they surveyed more than 14,000 people, and the result was shocking. It was recorded that more than 76% of the people was reported that they felt stuck in their personal life and their professional lives. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy Lin, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. In this channel, I focus on the 3 M's: money, mindset, and manifestation. So if you're into any of those things, you're at the right place. In today's video, I'm going to break it down for you why you feel stuck at times and feeling like you fell into a rut, and what you can do to get out fast. Let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about what is the feeling of stuckness means. For some people, feeling stuck means they feel conflicted between 2 choices or situations, and they just can't seem to make a decision. So they procrastinate on making any decisions, or they don't want to make the wrong decisions. I don't know if you can relate. Some of those people are what we refer to as the perfectionists. So maybe you're listening, maybe you can resonate with that. Let me know in the comment section. For others, feeling stuck might reflect their past experiences, trying really hard and putting in all the efforts, and yet there's little or no progress and nothing to show for. And they get into this downward spiral of beating themselves up, and they feel like they've hit rock bottom. You see, we often feel stuck when we believe we've tried everything we can to change the situation, but still there seems to be no progress at all. And you might catch yourself thinking the negative thoughts pattern over and over again and beating yourself up. And this is when you start to feel powerless, hopelessness, or even overwhelmed. The truth though, you see, you're not physically stuck. I always joke around that you're not a tree. The reason why you feel stuck is because you have a habitual thinking pattern that's keeping you stuck. It's the way that you've been habitually thinking and viewing the world, or we call your mindset or your perception. Based off of my experiences of working with clients and also my own personal experience when I felt stuck in the past, these are the 3 major habits that are keeping people stuck in a rut. So I'll be breaking them down one by one into 2 parts. The first part is pointing out the habits that you may or may not be aware of that are keeping you stuck. And then I'll talk about the second part, which is how we can turn the habits around and focus on the solutions so that you can learn how to get yourself out of a rut fast. Now, let's dig deeper into each of these habits. The first habit is the habit of not setting the right goals. First of all, a lot of people don't even set goals to begin with. Lack of goal setting is actually a very common habit for a lot of people, and which will keep them feeling stuck. You see, the reason is because without clear goals and a plan of actions to achieve them, it's so easy to drift aimlessly without a sense of direction. That's why there's times when people feel lost, is because of that. I love this quote from the book, The Alice in Wonderland. So when Alice asks the cat which road she should take because she doesn't know where she wants to go, and then the cat replies, if you don't know where you're going, then it doesn't matter which road to take. So that's why it's so important that you have a goal so you know where you want to go. Without a clearly defined goal or vision of where you want to go, it's very challenging to stay motivated and focused. And a lot of times you're just responding to what the world throws at you. Maybe today you start this project and tomorrow you start another project, or maybe the day after a few weeks, you start this new job and then you quit and you jump into a totally different industry. So this is like a lot of people, that's what they're doing, right? And the reason why I say that, because that was me actually. I never used to set goals. Sure, I would set New Year's resolutions, but I never achieved them. I used to jump from companies to companies aimlessly, trying to see what would stick. My first job out of college, I went into the banking industry. And I was in the banking industry for 7 years. And in that 7 years, I changed 6 banks. And during that time, that's when I felt stuck. And I started to think, what's wrong with me? How come I can't keep up with just one job? And part of the reason was because I didn't have a goal. I was just surviving rather than thriving. Now, maybe some people are like me, where they feel stuck because not having a goal to work with. But for others, maybe they've actually got a goal, but it's the wrong goal. That they had been working with a goal that they don't feel inspired about. Maybe the goal is from someone else's expectations of them, from either their parents, their spouse, society. It's not really what they truly desire, so it doesn't inspire them. And they're just doing it for the sake of doing it. And they can do it for a little while, but not long. So what's the solution then? If you currently don't have a goal that excites you or inspires you, the new habit that you want to start incorporating right now is the habit of doing what you love to do. And I love this video on YouTube. It's called Starting with Why by Simon Sinek. This is where in the video, Simon talks about why it's so important to find out what drives you, right? So I would encourage you to sit down and ask yourself, what would I love to do? If money was not a concern, and don't get caught up on the how. For now, just really think about going after a goal. That's what we refer to as a fantasy goal. Okay? Imagine that you're doing something you love. You can't wait to get out of bed, right? And after you write out what is it that you would love to do, write out one inspired action step that you can take today towards that goal. You know, there's a quote that says, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, because the right goal will pull you rather than push you. So follow your bliss. The next habit that might be keeping you stuck is your inner critic and negative self-talk. You see, it's so easy to fall into the trap of criticizing ourselves constantly, which can lower our self-esteem and can create a cycle of self-doubt and insecurity, which is stopping you from moving forward, and that's why you feel stuck. You see, the inner chatter could be saying something like, who do you think you are? You can't do that. You've never done that before. Where are you going to get the money? Where are you going to get the clients? So on and so forth. And the negative self-talk often leads to fear of failure, which can lead to fear of criticism. And this fear can really hold us back from taking risks and trying new things, which can lead to stagnation. You know, again, the inner chatter that says, what if I fail? What would my colleagues say? What would my parents say? What would people think of me? They will think of me as a failure. Therefore, I'd rather not step outside of the comfort zone. I'll just play safe. Let me know if you can relate to those inner chatters that's happening in our mind. And oftentimes it creates inner conflict because deep down inside, you know that you have infinite potential. You know you can do better, but are crippled by the negative, constantly self-talk and fear. So, what's the solution? It's so important to develop a habit of becoming aware of your inner critic in your mind. So you want to make sure you start catching your own thoughts and do some introspection, do some soul searching. Where did those beliefs come from? Are they facts or are they just opinions of others? Just because you have a thought, it doesn't mean that they're true. So start to examine your thinking patterns. Are they empowering or if they're disempowering? And if they are disempowering, you have the ability to reject them. And you start to ask yourself, well, what would I like to believe instead? And the second part is to start being your biggest cheerleader. I have a saying that start to be tough on yourself, but don't be hard on yourself. You see, most of us are so hard on ourselves, and that creates a downward spiral. What you want to do is you want to build a strong self-image. How do successful people think of themselves? How do they think about failures? You see, most people, when they try something and it doesn't work out, they feel defeated. Whereas successful people, they have a strong sense of self-image. And if they fail, quote unquote, their attitude, their outlook is, well, I just tried things that didn't work out. It does not make me a failure. So the second habit is to become aware of your inner chatter, what you're saying to yourself. And make sure that you want to be your biggest cheerleaders and build a strong self-image and start to adapt new empowering beliefs. The third habit that keeps people stuck is procrastination. We all tend to procrastinate from time to time, putting off tasks that we know we should do, but for some reason, we just postpone it on taking action. And every time when we procrastinate, it can actually prevent us from making progress and potentially miss out on opportunities. And if we prolong this habit, we start to feel guilt and overwhelmed. I should have done that sooner. I should have started with that. You see, we started to beat ourselves again. And now that's the downward spiral. And a lot of people who procrastinate tend to be perfectionists, where they strive for perfection can often lead to excessive revisions, overthinking, and an inability to complete tasks. Perfectionist tends to spend so much time trying to make something flawless or perfect that they never actually finish or share their work. This is where they get into the analysis paralysis. What's the solution? Well, start to get into the habit of making decisions fast. I love this quote from Napoleon Hill. He says that successful people make decisions fast and change them slowly if they change them at all. Understand that there's no such thing as the wrong decisions. They're only lessons to be learned. So begin by just taking one step. There's a saying by the famous Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. He says that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And you won't be able to get anywhere unless you start the journey by taking that first step. And the truth is that there's no such thing as perfection because there's always room for improvement. So done is better than perfect. You can only improve by doing, not just by thinking in your mind. So the third habit to get yourself out of a rut is don't procrastinate, don't overanalyze, okay, and start to practice making fast decisions. And start by asking yourself, what is one step I can take today? Even if it's a tiny step, it will help propel you and get you moving. And once you start moving, the momentum will pick it up. And before you know it, you'll be out of the rut. There you have it. These are the top 3 habits that are the most common that have kept people feeling stuck and unmotivated. Let me know in the comment sections below which one of these habits have kept you feeling stuck in a rut. But now you've got the tools on how to switch them out so you can start to cultivate new sets of empowering habits. By first recognizing these patterns in your behavior, you can take the necessary steps to break free from them and get yourself out of a rut fast and start making positive changes in your life. And what's the next step? The next step would be to learn how to become magnetic so you can start attracting what you want into your life with ease. I did a video on the 3 habits that you can start implementing right away that will make you magnetic instantly. If you'd like to learn how to do that, be sure to check out my video here, and I'll see you here next.